Once again, back on Boond Soch ki ttalk train of and thought with a series of an episode with Mr. Yogesh Mishra. We have seen his interesting journey right from how he started his career, what struggle he had to face coming from Allahabad to Mumbai and upgrading himself as far as career which is concerned, and his work in Hindustan Times, then in DNA, then in Midday. Now that was part of an media marketing where he had to struggle and find a space for himself. But now is a marathon how he entered into an Bollywood journalism. So it's a very interesting story what we have seen in the earlier episode. आपने मीडिया मार्केटिंग से बॉलीवुड जर्नलिज्म में कैसे शिफ्ट किया?
See, the story, as I told you, I always willing to become a journalist. Since I had a literature background, I was masters into literature. But I could not get a chance because there was no one in Mumbai, godfather for me here. And I was just going for walk-in interviews with my CV. But nobody took me because there was no connection there. So the interesting thing is, like in 2012 when I started my study with mass communication and journalism, I thank Midday newspaper who gave me an opportunity to take me a small shift inside. I hope everybody knows there is an internship is required when you do a master degree. Then you need to have a little internship required. So since I was full-time employee in Midday newspaper, so I had no choice but to
Do
internship in Midday only. So I spoke to that HR guy. They were quite happy. Oh, you are further doing your studies, and they were quite happy. So I got a shift in editorial department that time, and I started my internship. So for the full day, I was into this team of media marketing, and then evening time, my time next shift was starting with the editorial team. So I completed my internship in journalism at Midday only that time. That was the first chance.
So आपकी एक बूंद सोच की जर्नलिज्म की आपकी वहाँ से शुरुआत हुई इंटर्नशिप से.
Right, that internship. But there was another chapter. The parallel, one more story was going on in my mind actually. Second thing was, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to start my own, something of my own. When I was doing my MBA, my ambition was, to do the jobs for 2-3 years. After that, I was willing to start my own company, my own media company. In fact, I was always decided that I'll be in a media only. I had never any other thought actually. So, parallel, I started thinking of starting my own company. And then some of my colleagues in Midday and some of outside Midday, they joined me in this mission. And I started paperwork for starting my magazine, English magazine. Since I was into Bollywood journalism, I started my shift in that. So we did a paperwork for this magazine, Bollywood Town. And I started this magazine in 2015. And then I had no choice but to leave Midday. And parallel you cannot do, either you can work.
बट वहाँ पे एकदम थोड़ा इतना संघर्ष करने के बाद में आपने आपको संभाला वहाँ पे. देन अगेन अनदर रिस्क ऑफ गेटिंग इनटू बीइंग एन एंटरप्रेन्योर. कैसा फील लगा आपको?
See, every time my life is full of struggles actually. In the school days, when I was a small child, my father was not with me. He was in Mumbai and I was under the guardianship of my uncle and my elder brother actually. So I could not get enough love that I was supposed to from my father because he was not living with me. And then after childhood, when I came to Allahabad city, so again the struggle was the same because there was a house in Allahabad city, but there was no family member in that city. So I was alone. So I used to cook my food. I used to do everything for myself. I was just 16 years old child. I was not, and then again my struggle was like I was living in that city without my parents or anyone who can give me food or Again that story, that struggle could not end properly. And then that time only I lost my father. And then I went to Ghaziabad and luckily I was in hostel there. So food and कोई problem नहीं था वहाँ पे. And then again, but that was the struggle. मुंबई आने के बाद अगेन चौल में आई स्टार्टेड लिविंग ऑन रेंट. तो वो भी एक स्ट्रगल था बिकॉज इफ यू लूज योर जॉब यू कैन नॉट पे योर रेंट.
करेक्ट.
सो वो थ्रेट हमेशा बना हुआ था, यू हैव टू सिक्योर योर जॉब.
करेक्ट. उसके लिए संघर्ष और ज्यादा.
उसके लिए वो संघर्ष मेंटेन रहा मेरा, बट वो एक टफ पीरियड था. उस स्ट्रगल के बाद देन माई नेक्स्ट स्ट्रगल वॉज कि मुझे मास कॉम में भी अपनी पढ़ाई को कंटिन्यू करना था बिकॉज थ्रू MBA एंड थ्रू MA इन इंग्लिश लिटरेचर आई वॉज नॉट गेटिंग द जॉब इन टू जर्नलिज्म एक्चुअली. एंड देयर वाज नो कनेक्शन इन मीडिया कंपनीज एक्चुअली. तो वो भी एक रीजन था. दीज डिग्रीज कुड वर्क एक्चुअली बट सिंस आई हैड नो कनेक्शन विद दीज कंपनीज, तो आई थॉट ऑफ लेट्स डू मास कम्युनिकेशन. तो मास कॉम करके शायद है कि आई कैन स्टार्ट माई करियर इन ए प्रॉपर वे. फिर वो स्ट्रगल वहाँ पे ख़त्म भी नहीं हुआ. द नेक्स्ट स्ट्रगल स्टार्टेड व्हेन आई जॉइंड मास कॉम का दिस थिंग कोर्स एंड उसकी फी स्ट्रक्चर वाज इन लैक्स. तो वो एक स्ट्रगल था. आई यूज्ड टू अर्न एंड पे माई फी फ्रॉम माई दैट अर्निंग. तो वो भी स्ट्रगल ख़त्म नहीं हुआ. देन शिफ्ट वाज अनदर स्ट्रगल कि हमें मीडिया मार्केटिंग क्योंकि वो करना नहीं था. एड स्पेस में हमें एडवर्टाइजिंग में नहीं रहना था, हमें तो जर्नलिज्म में ही प्रॉपर आना था. दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज डूइंग माय मास कॉम. वो शिफ्ट भी एक चैलेंज रहा. इट वाज अ बिग चैलेंज डिस्पाइट नोइंग कि आई डोंट हैव एनी गॉडफादर इन माय इन मुंबई सिटी एक्चुअली. स्टिल आई एम टेकिंग अ चांस, आई एम टेकिंग अ रिस्क एवरी टाइम. आफ्टर एवरी 1 or 2 years I used to take a risk, a big risk on myself. I was gambling on my career actually. In fact you can say.
ऐसे कहते हैं ना, अगर रिस्क है तो इश्क है. तो वही मिस्टर योगेश मिश्रा जी ने स्ट्रगल किया बट हौसला नहीं छोड़ा उन्होंने. जैसा उन्होंने कभी हम संतुष्ट हो जाते, फिर डिग्री मिल गई, चलो ठीक है करियर अपना सही चलेगा. उसके बाद उन्होंने जाके MBA किया. MBA करने के बाद भी उन्होंने सोचा नहीं कुछ ना कुछ, आई थिंक समथिंग व्हाट इज मिसिंग. देन ही एंटर इनटू एन जर्नलिज्म. सो इट्स अ ग्रेट इंस्पिरेशन फॉर ऑल द टिकटॉक ऑडियंस, जो आपने संघर्ष किया, आपने आपको अपग्रेड रखा और एक जर्नलिज्म में अपना एक मुकाम पाया. सो दिस वॉज एन story till now with Yogesh Mishra. It's very interesting. Now, in fact, catch on with Mr. Yogesh Mishra in the next episode on ttalk ek Boond Soch ki. If you like his episode, please go to www.ttalk.net, subscribe and like the channel. Thank you very much.